Hey everybody, Trainer Joe here, bringing you something fresh. You know what I hear from a lot of people, and I'm sure you've been through this too, is this idea that, I want to lose weight, but I'd like to be satisfied, and so often I'm still hungry. And they're like, man, I'm still hungry. What do you do with that? Have you ever felt that way? Like, if I could just get satisfied. So here's some things that I want you to think about. Imagine that you weigh 500 pounds and you're trying to figure out whether you're still hungry or not. I mean, how much sense does that make? If you stand back and you look at somebody that's 500 pounds and they're trying to tell you, but I'm still hungry. Okay, that's one thing. Or imagine that you're looking at somebody that is anorexic. They're way underweight, right? They weigh 80 pounds and they're 6 foot tall. Okay, and they're telling you that they're not hungry, right? We have a disconnect when it comes to what hunger actually is and how to deal with that, which is part of our issues. We feel like I'm supposed to give how I feel this great importance, and that's what we go by. I'm going to eat some more because I don't feel satisfied yet. Guys, we've got to get to where we realize what we use to measure hunger is not working right. Our gauge is not reliable. Imagine this. You've got 50 pounds to lose. And you're trying to decide how much food to eat. And you eat, and then later in the day you're hungry and you eat a little bit, but you want to eat more. Well, who are you eating for? Because if you're eating for, let's say you weigh 200 and you want to weigh 150, if you're eating for 150, do you think you're going to be satisfied? Do you think you're going to feel like, wow, I've had plenty to eat? No, you're not. Most likely you're not, because you're used to feeding what? You're used to feeding 200. And that felt fine. It's not like you were uncomfortably stuffed all the time, probably. I'm sure sometimes you were, but you're using that feeling, feeding 200 as the norm instead of, well, no, you got to feed a smaller you now. Consider the person that has gastric bypass. Have you seen that show 600 Pound Life, with how excited they get if they're eligible to have this surgery? It's like they've won the lottery. What do they do when you have that bypass? They take a stomach that looks about like this and they turn it into a stomach that's like this. Your stomach is probably bigger than it should be because you're used to filling it too full. And now we're trying to decide if you're hungry or not. Well, they'll happily go in and create a little stomach for you where you can't eat. You feel full, but your mind is going to say you want more to eat. You're going to go through this crazy stuff if you ever get this right. And ultimately, it's going to be you realizing you've had enough to eat because you've had enough to eat. And if you can get on the scale and it tells you, hey, you weigh the right amount, guess what that means? You've had enough to eat. And if you get on the scale and it says you're 50 pounds overweight, guess what it's telling you? You've had too much to eat. You've got to get beyond this idea that I need to feel a certain way and embrace the hunger. Because when you have this small stomach, you really want somebody to force you to eat less? Is that what you think the solution is going to be? I'm not condemning that. I know a lot of people that have had the gastric bypass, but if we can get your head straight, you're not going to need to go through that surgery. We've got to get within us this idea that I'm okay even though I'm not stuffed, even though I'm not full, even though I might feel a little hungry. We can sit here and look at what you've eaten and determine you've had enough to eat. But we're going to have to work on the mindset. Are you willing to do that? Because you don't know whether you're hungry or not. Half people never been hungry in their lives, and they think they're hungry all the time. They've never even been hungry. It's time to go through the process. Let me take you through a 21-day transformation, and we'll teach you what that means and how to get to that. So many people have no clue whether they're hungry or not, and you've got to be willing to embrace the hunger that you think is hunger, because for most people, it's not even hunger. I'm Trainer Joe. I'm helping you train your brain and transform your body. Like this, share this, click the bell so you don't miss any videos, because we'll bring you something fresh and new every week to help you on this journey.